Okay, so we'll start talking about how we can create a simple app using Salesforce, right? So we will get into customization and we will learn, how the customization can be done. But first of all, we will start with, creating a very simple app. It's going to be a very simple and small app. The reason why I want you to create an app first, because while you create an app, you will get introduced to all the components which are a part of an app. All right, and you will start understanding the structure of an app pretty clearly. All right. So for our example, the sample app which we are going to design is for a hotel reservation system. All right. So let's build this hotel reservation app. Hotel reservation app using Salesforce. Right. This is what we are going to build. So, basically with this app, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help a hotel manage their reservation system, right? Which all rooms have been booked, which all rooms are available. So that reservation process can be completely moved into Salesforce using this app, right? So it's going to be a very simple app. First of all, before we start creating an app, as we understand, Salesforce is built on MVC framework. So before we start building an app straight away on the Salesforce, you need to figure out the data structure. What data needs to be stored in that app? All right. So the data that needs to be stored, first thing will be uh, the rooms, right? Which all rooms the hotel has. So first of all, I need a table where I can track all the rooms. So I'll create a table for the rooms, and you just have to, first of all, list down everything in terms of data structure before you actually go and create it in Salesforce. Not just the data structure, everything that you're planning to do on the application. First of all, it needs to be written. All right. So the best way to do that is before you start working on anything, you should define what exactly you are trying to achieve. That's very important. I've seen in a few situations what happens is we just straight away jump into what exactly we want to do. If you straight away start doing what you straight away start doing something on Salesforce, then you will not understand. Then you will not understand what exactly is being done and what I wanted to achieve. Right. So first thing, we should write down everything. All right. So for your practice also, you can just take a scenario, start designing an app, and create a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet for that, where you list down everything. That this is what I plan to achieve for this app, and gradually keep on increasing your list of requirements on a day-to-day basis. All right. So let's come back to this application designing. So first table that I can think of is the rooms. I need to definitely have a table where I can track all the rooms. So there can be a room ID, that can be the room number. There can be a type of the room. There can be a certain. Arvind, what all other things you think we need to put in the room? ID, type, and because
Give me one second. Let me take a look. We put price, status, floor, and accessibility.
floor and accessibility.
Yeah, accessibility.
Okay. So these are the fields that I think I need to store for the rooms, right? Room ID or the room number, type. So room ID can be, it can be text or number, whatever it is. Type will be a pick list. Okay. Let's say type A, type B, type C. What kind of a room it is. Depends on the hotel. They can pick what type they need. Price will be currency for sure. Status again can be a pick list. Floor can be pick list again. and accessibility can be a checkbox, whether it's accessible or not. Fine. So this means you can have more, features and more fields to define the room. Depends on the hotel. So we'll just work with these fields. Then on the other hand, I need a table to track the customers. Okay. So next thing that I need is I need a table for my customers. Customers, whoever comes in, you can create a table for tracking information of your customers. So for customers, again, you can assign an ID to the customer. You can have a name for the customer, and then you can have uh, maybe if you want phone number of the customer, email of the customer. All right, let's go by this. So ID again can be an auto number, sorry, alphanumeric or auto number. Name will be text. So while you're deciding on the fields which need to be created inside the tables, you should also be deciding on the data type of the fields. Okay, what type of data will get into that? Phone number will be phone, email will be email. All right, that's fine. So I've decided for two tables. There is a third table that I'm thinking to create, which will be the reservations. Okay, so reservation, there will be again an ID. Okay, it's a good habit to have an ID for every table that you're creating in the database, right? So that ID becomes a unique identifier. ID is the unique identifier for the record of a table. All right, so for reservations there can be an ID, there can be a date of reservation, date date of reservation, there can be a check-in date, there can be a checkout date, um, there can be yeah. So these are information relevant to the reservation, but there are two other things that need to be tracked. Which customer had made the reservation and for which room, right? Correct. So a simple app where I am talking about, okay, a simple app where I'm talking about hotel reservation system. So it has a table called rooms, it has another table called customers, it has a table called reservations. Right. So let's work with these three tables only for now. And then you can extend it, or you can actually go ahead and create some other app as per your choice. So this also can be alphanumeric or text, whatever. ID depends on you, what kind of an ID you actually want to generate for your company. But usually these IDs are, they have some numeric touch to it. This will be date. Date of reservation is going to be date field. Check-in date will be a date field. Checkout date will be a date field. Customer will be a lookup field. Okay, lookup is basically a field which can connect this with other objects. All right, so this customer will be a lookup field which connects it to the customer object. Okay, customer table. So this should connect it to the customer, and then I need one more lookup to connect it to the rooms. Correct. So that's it. So that's my small app. Structure for my small app is ready. Okay, data structure is ready. Now let's go and build it. So for building the app, this is what you have to do. Before we start building the app, let me just give you a small brief on what all components will be there. Okay, so if you're building this app, what you have to do is you have to just put this details here. First, the database, in the database we need to create those tables. Okay, so tables in our Salesforce terminology we call them objects. An object is pretty similar to a table. Then I'll need to create the columns. Columns are called fields, right? So whatever you have listed here, these are objects and fields. Room is an object, customer is an object, reservation is an object, and these are the fields under that, right? So I need to create these objects and fields, but whatever is getting created, this is in the backend database, which end users cannot see, right? So for my end users to see those, what I need to do is I need to create tabs. All right, tabs are uh, for your understanding buttons to connect to database object. Okay, that's what a tab is. So for all these three objects, I need to create three tabs. Correct. So it's more like just try and understand this. Like if you have a fan in the room, you also need a switch to operate the fan, right? So cannot just say that okay, I'll just put the fan and I'll not have the switch. Your end users will not have access to the fan if you do not put a switch. So that's how it is. So if I'm creating something in the database table, uh, I need a tab to access that. Okay. So for these three objects, I need three tabs also. All right. Okay. Now I also need some interface where all those tabs can be put. Okay. So for that, there is this thing called an app. So on Salesforce, in the top right corner, you will see there is an app drop down. Okay. Sales app, call center app, marketing app. The same way, I'll have to create one app for the hotel reservation. All right. So you need to create an app, and an app is basically collection of tabs. So we'll create an app and we will put all these three tabs inside that app. Correct? Hope that's pretty simple, easy to understand. So let's start working from here. I'll start from creating an app first and then we will create object and create tab. Right? So first thing I'll do is create an app, then create object, then create tab, and then repeat step 2 and 3. This is what I'm going to do because app needs to be created only once, but object I have three objects, so I'm going to after creating object and fields also. So fields also need to be created here. So this is the simple mechanism which we are going to do. First of all, we'll create an app, then we'll create object and field, create a tab for that, go to the other object, create the object and fields, and then again go to the third one. That's what we are going to do. So here it is. Okay. So to create an app, first of all, you just need to go to setup. Sorry. Go to setup, then go to create. In the setup menu, in the left hand side, you will see the setup menu, and under setup menu, you just need to go to create. What do we want to create first? App. So just go ahead and click on app. I want to create an app. Go to new.
I think your screen might be frozen. Where do we see the create option?
Setup.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yes, I got a setup piece. Oh, you go to build on the left side, this one?
Right, right.
Right. Okay.
Okay, just go to setup, create app, and please do not try to create it parallelly. Just look into what I'm doing. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it. I just want to make sure where it was.
No, that's fine. Okay. So just go to setup, create, and this time we want to create the app. So to create the app, all that you have to do is go to setup, create app, click on new, custom app. This will be selected. Just go to next. Give a label and name for the app. Okay. In Salesforce, whatever you try to create, you will have a label and a name for it. So the difference between a label and name is, label is what can be displayed to the end user. Name is what actually the name of that particular component is. All right. So name cannot have spaces, it cannot have special characters, and it's something which will be used when you try to use that component in the programming. All right. But you might want to give a different label with spaces and all that stuff, right? So hotel reservation app, reservation. Okay. Now see, that's my label, and that's what I want my end users to see. But if I feel that this is too much, too long for a name, because if you try using, referencing this in any part in the programming language, and you feel that this it is going to be very long, I can name it something like HRA. Fine. So just go to next. We can insert an image, but we are not going to insert image right now. All right. I told you an app is a collection of tabs, right? And there are already so many tabs which Salesforce has created. So here in this step 4, it's going to ask you whether you want any of these tabs to be included in that app. I do not want any of the tabs. Home tab is by default and it will be there. You cannot remove it. Apart from this, I do not need anything from here. Account, campaigns, cases, these things I do not need. If you need something, you can just take it. But my app has got no requirement of any of these tabs, so I'm not going to include those. Let's go to next. Okay, for step 5, all that you need to do for now, because you do not know what exactly a profile is, so don't worry, just click on visible for now and move away. Just click on the visible at top and just go click on save. We'll talk about profile and all later. Done. So your app is ready. If my app is ready, where do I go and check it? I should go and check it in the apps drop down menu, force.com app menu. Click on this force.com app menu. Do you see your app? Fine.
Yep.
My app is ready. Just click on that app. You will see that it has only one tab, home tab. Why it just shows one tab? Because I just included one tab into this, right? I did not include any other tab. Now, all that I have to do is I have to create my objects, the 3 objects that I have decided. I have to create those 3 objects, create tabs for those objects and include those tabs here. That's it. That's how simple it is. Okay, so first thing, let's create the room object. To create object, again you have to go to the same navigation setup, in the menu go to create, and this time you need to click on object. Say new custom object. So room object. All right. For now, you can just fill in the name and click on save. That's absolutely okay. Okay. Your object gets created. You've just given a name to the object and your object gets created. Once the object is created, all that you have to do is you have to uh, create the fields. I'm creating this object, right? So object is ready, but I need to create these fields, right? These fields all need to be created. So to create these fields, you can just come here. If you're on the same page, you will see custom field and relationship option, and here you can click on new to create a field. All right. Now, these are all custom fields which I can create. But there are four standard fields which are already there. Okay. Again, standard field and custom field, the difference is standard field is something which Salesforce has created, and custom field is what we create. Okay. So that's the concept. Throughout Salesforce, you will come across these terminologies, standard and custom. Standard is what Salesforce has created, and that's standard for everyone. Custom is something that you create. All right. So,
What does the lookup user mean and the user queue on the data type?
so I think once we start talking a little more on the data type, you will start understanding that yourself, right? So
Sure.
right now we don't need to get into that. Okay. Now, um, by default it has four standard fields. All right. Now, out of these four standard fields, one is name, one is owner, one is created by, and one is modified by. So these are all, apart from this room name, all other are basically system information. Who created the record, who modified the record last, that sort of information, and we do not have anything to do with that. I mean, we cannot go and edit that. All right. So now almost all the fields that I require, I need to create. Okay. There, out of all these, only there is one field where you can put information, that's a room name. Okay. So let's say this room name can be okay for this. So let's say this field is done. But still I need to create all these fields. All right. The type, price, status. Okay. So all these fields have to be custom field. To create a custom field, just click on new. Okay. Now here it is. Select the data type or the field type. Now this is the list of field types which are available in Salesforce. Okay. So the ones which are here till the lookup and all these things, this will be there's something which we'll talk a little later. The simple data types are these: checkbox, currency, date time, email, geolocation, number, percent, phone. So while you are actually preparing a list here, and while you are putting the data types here, make sure that you're using one of these options. All right. Because these data types are different from the data types which are available in some other programming language. Okay. And name wise they are different, and the way they are actually structured. All right. So make sure that you are trying to name your field in one of these data types. Oh, sorry, the data type of the field from one of these, or maybe from here also, but for now we are actually not getting into this. Okay. So my first field is type. Type is a pick list. Yes. So let me pick list. Then go to next, and then I just will call it type. Just give a field label. Again, the same concept: field label and name. And because it's a pick list or a drop down, you have to put the options. Let's say type A, type B, and type C. Okay. Go ahead and click on next. Again, this security concept, we are not talking about it right now. We'll talk about this later. Just make it visible. Okay. And just go to next. Done. Your one field is ready. Same way, go to new, create another field for price. Price is going to be currency, right? So here is currency. Go to next. Right. Here you also have the option of defining maximum length of the price. So it's definitely not going to be something like 18 digits. You can put it 10 digits. Make it visible. Go to next. Save. Okay. I'll skip a couple of fields that you can do on your own. I'll go into accessibility checkbox. Okay. So I can create one more field, which is going to be a checkbox. And then just go to next. Okay. I'll call this field accessible. So this will be a checkbox, whether accessible or not. By what will be the default value? By default, should it be checked or unchecked? I keep it unchecked by default. Go to next. Make it visible. Go to next. Save. So my first object is ready. Okay, there are a few more fields that you can add and you can do it. So at any point of time, if you want to add fields into this, you can just go to setup, create objects. If you want to add field to an existing object, you again need to take the same route, setup, create objects, and you will see that object listed here. Click on that object name and it will take you to the same screen where you can add more fields here. All right. So whenever you feel like adding more fields here, you can do that. Okay. So for now, let me just finalize with this particular object with these number of fields. All right. That's okay. This room name does not look good. So what I'm going to do is I'll just edit this and call it room number. Okay. So though it's a standard field, but you have the option of changing the label of it. Yeah. So I've made it room number. So my object is ready. All that I need to do now is I just need to create a tab for this. Okay. Creating a tab is again as simple as what we have done so far. So you just have to go to setup, create, and click on tabs. Okay, go to setup, create tab, and click on new custom object tab. You're creating a tab for the object, right? There are other options for creating tab, but I want to create an create a tab for an object. So you will just select custom object tab, click on new. That's it. Which object? Room. So this tab will connect you to the room object. This tab will connect you with the room object. There's an option of selecting a tab style. Tab style is basically a combination of an icon and a color. You can pick any of these, whatever you feel like, and click on next. Okay. This step 2, add two profiles. Again, you don't need to do anything. Leave it as it is. Go to next. Okay. Step 3 is where, well, now remember when I was creating an app, it asked me which all tabs I want to include in the app, right? It asks me which all tabs I want in that app. Now, while you create a tab, it asks you in which all apps you want to display this tab. Okay, so do you want this tab to be displayed under sales app or marketing app or call center app? My room tab is only required for hotel reservation, so I'll just include it in this app. If you want, you can include it in other apps also, but you have to decide whether it's required or not. So for now, I'll just keep it in the hotel reservation app. Click on save. That's it. You see this? So the tab is here. Now you can click on this tab and create your entries. So that, let's say there is a room number which is A001. It's a B type room. It's accessible. See, right? So you can start accessing the data of this table from here. See, you first of all you'll have to create the data, and then you can actually go ahead and look at it. This way you can actually increase the data and include all your rooms data and tables. Okay, so the first object is ready. Let me go ahead and create the second object and the third the same way.
Jeet, this is Arvind. One quick question.
Yep.
How did we indicate that they should be tied back to the rooms that you created? Or where did we indicate that?
What did we indicate? Sorry.
Where did we link this tab to the object we had created before?
Okay. While we created the tab. So let me do it for customers. Then you will get to
Oh,
understand.
sure. All right, sure.
Right.
I think that should
So
answer the question then.
yeah. So let's go to setup, create object. Again, customer is an object which I'm going to create first of all. First of all, I'll create the object. So just go to new custom object, call it customer. Save it. Okay. This is where I'm going to create the fields. So customer name has already come. So I don't need to create the name field anymore. All that I'll create is a phone and an email field for the customer. That's all. So there is a phone field option here. Go to next. Go to next. Make it visible. Go to next. Now since I want to create one more field here, I can also click on save and new. After this I want to create one more field on the same object, right? So you can just go ahead and click on save and new. This time it's going to be email field. Go to next. Email. Next. Visible. Next. Save. Alright, so my customer object is ready. I've created two fields, sorry, three fields. Customer name is already there, email and phone. Alright, so now time for me to create a tab for customers. To create tab, again go to setup, create tabs. Alright, click on new custom object tab. While you create the tab, you select on which object it will get connected to. So Arvind, here is the answer to your question. This is where you connected to the particular object.
On the tabs, okay, on the object, got it.
Right? And then again pick a tab style whichever you want. Then click on next, let it be as it is. Step 3, I will just assign it to my hotel reservation app. Save it. Done. So I have a tab for rooms, I have a tab for customers. So if there is a new customer, you enter his details from here, your room details go in here. Okay, now let's come and create another object which is going to be the reservations. So let me create a new custom object. Reservation. Save. For reservation name, I will change it to reservation ID. Let me just put it as a reservation ID. Save it. And for reservation, I'll again start creating the fields as I did earlier for other things. Um, so first is going to be date of reservation. Click on next. So reservation date is 1. Make it visible. Go to next. Save and new. Another date field for check-in date. Check-in date. visible, checkout date. Again, that's date. All right. You can, if you want to be more specific, you can pick field type as date time also. If you want to, check out date time, you can create a date time field also. Save. All right. So I've already created the reservation date, check-in date, checkout date. Now I need to connect this object with customer and room, right? So that is where I will use another data type which is called lookup. Okay. So lookup is basically used for connecting your current object to another object. It's like a foreign key. Okay. So for lookup, you just need to click on new. The same way, it's also a field. Here in the field type, all that you have to do is you have to pick lookup relationship field. So what's a lookup relationship fields? It's basically a relationship field which relates this object to the other object. Okay. So firstly, I will create a lookup relationship with the customer and then I'll create it with the room or the other way around. See, this creates a relationship that links this object to another object. The relationship field allows user to click on a lookup icon to select a value from a pop-up list. The other object is the source of the values in the list. Okay, so then you will not manually enter the value; you will pick it from that object. So let me just create a lookup relationship field. I want to relate to which object through this field? Which object I want to connect to? Customer, right? I'm on the reservation and I want to create a field for customer. So related to customer. Click on next. Field label can be given. Let's go to next. Make it visible. It's the same way. Just that it's a lookup field, but it's also a field only, normal field. I need one more lookup field to connect to the room. So let me pick lookup relationship, go to next. This time relate it to room. Go to next. Make it visible. Go to next. Next. Save. Fine. So that's it. All my fields are created. Alright. Only thing I need now is to create a tab for this object also. Just go ahead and click on the tab. Create a new tab. This tab is for reservation object. Click an icon. Click on next. Next. Hotel reservation app. I'll select here. Save it. That's it. Done. So my hotel reservation app, the small one that we planned for, is ready. We have the rooms option where I can enter the room details. I have the customer options where I can enter the customer details. Alright. In the reservations, you can make reservations, and for reservation, then let's say there is an ID 001. Reservation date is on 13th August. Now the check-in date will be, let's say, 17th August. Checkout date will be 19th August. Customer, which customer is booking? Now this lookup allows you to pick a customer from the customer object. So I already entered this as a customer. If you have more customers in the list, you will be able to select one of the customers, and you can also pick the room for which the booking has been made. That's it. Okay. Now, if you go to the customer, you will see. I think I uh, written incorrect spelling for customer. You can correct it later on. So if you go to the customer, you will get to see all his reservations. If you go to the room, you will get to see all the reservations of the room. Got it? So that's how it is. So this is how we create a simple app in Salesforce, and you must be seeing how simple it is basically to create an app. Where you can start creating an app in a span of like 20 or 30 minutes. And after this is all a matter of enhancing the app, how it looks, how what sort of logics work on it, and all that stuff. You were saying something?
Yes, I was going to say, we we have two tabs here, right? The customers and then the reservations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, practically speaking, if I were to take a reservation from a customer who's calling in, then I would have to put the customer's name in a different tab and enter the reservation details in a different tab. Can we have one form where both could be entered and saved and they would get stored wherever they need to?
Yeah, we can have that. So basically, again, what I'm actually trying to tell you is that this is a simple app that we have done, right? There is a lot which can be done. So if we do everything on today's session, then what is the use of doing all those sessions? So there is a lot which can be done, right? You might want the name to be populated automatically. You might want the user interface to be different. You might want some backend programming logic to work on. So that will be there, but those things can be done. Basically, the idea is to understand the structure of the app and all, right? Other things can be done. So here onwards, it's all going to be enhancement of the basic app that we understand and that we create.
Got it.
All right. Okay, so I would suggest you to either think of some small app if you can think of, and which has not more than 4 or 5 objects. All right, try to create an app which you feel like creating, which the process, or if you want, you can just try and replicate this one. Think about it and create it. That will at least give you a good understanding of where to click and where to go and the navigation at least. All right.